Rent, utilities, food. On any given year, thousands of Central Ohioans have trouble paying for these. Add in a pandemic and record inflation, and you know those numbers aren't going anywhere but up. The good thing is the Salvation Army is here to help 24/7. But do you really know all that they do? Let's find out. Tricia, you have been with the Salvation Army just a couple of years.
Just a few, yes.
Major Tricia Brennan is the co-area coordinator for the Salvation Army in Central Ohio, alongside her husband, James. While they came to Columbus just a couple of years ago, Tricia's commitment spans generations.
Tell me, a fifth generation member of the Salvation Army. Tell me about that history and you know, how you kind of got that ingrained in you.
Absolutely. My family has been a part of the Salvation Army for a long time. My great-grandparents came over from England and they settled in Schenectady, New York, where there was a very healthy Salvation Army presence. And I was under, my dad's teaching as a bandmaster in Schenectady for about 20 years before I went into the seminary with the Salvation Army to work for them full-time. Honestly, I wouldn't have known just how many needs there were if I hadn't been exposed to the Salvation Army at such a early age.
And just how many needs there are locally is staggering, which is why the Salvation Army wants people to realize they're more than just the red kettle bell ringers. They're in the business of changing lives on the daily.
We recognize that need really doesn't have any specific season, that things happen in life all the time. And the Salvation Army is here 365 days a year, 7 days a week, to address those needs.
And a big one these days is food insecurity. Last year alone, the Salvation Army provided 320,000 meals to our hungry neighbors through their 5 local food pantries. The need has already risen in the first few months of the year.
We have families and individuals that are having to make very difficult choices between getting groceries at a level that will sustain the family well, or paying their rent, or paying part of their utilities so they can still cover their rent. We're seeing almost perfect storm-like situations in our families where, it's almost like a tsunami effect where all of a sudden one more thing happens and it just completely destabilizes our most vulnerable individuals and families.
And when it comes to children, the Salvation Army fills a gap that brings structure and predictability to their young lives. From a summer day camp and sleepaway camp to learning centers in the Linden and Hilltop areas.
Children have a safe place to go after school every day. They receive homework help, they receive some homework, tutorage to help them with their math, but they're also gaining the social skills and the emotional skills of having the same, staff, the same children that they get to interact with and develop friendships with, which really provide a network of support for them as they continue to develop.
Other supports target veterans and homeless prevention. Last year, they provided more than 120,000 nights of lodging to keep people off the streets. And more recently, the Salvation Army focused their efforts on victims of human trafficking, helping upwards of 1,200 survivors find safety and hope in 2022.
So what do you want people to know about how vitally important your help is when trying to combat that?
I think the most important thing we really want people to know about the importance of this program is that it's available 24 hours a day. We do have a hotline. This type of problem and challenge is not a 9-to-5, challenge or issue. And really what we want individuals to know is there is always help for anyone caught in that kind of situation. And the Salvation Army will do absolutely everything we can to change that situation for you.
And they can't do that without your help. Because need knows no season, the Salvation Army is looking for donations to continue their often life-saving mission. Every penny will go directly to helping your neighbors in need.
There isn't anything too small that isn't significant when you're trying to help someone. And sometimes people just need a little hand up to get, back on their feet and help someone else. And 9 times out of 10, individuals that have been helped turn around and help someone else. So that's the best part of this cycle.